Hi everyone, welcome back to DGMZ, Diwan-e-Ghalib, Meri Subani. To all our returning viewers, we are very happy you could join us again. And for the new viewers, we are delighted you discovered the podcast and decided to tune in for the first time. Now, if you were with me in the previous episode, you know that currently we are going through Ghazal 22 from Diwan-e-Ghalib. Hawas ko hai Nashaat-e-Kaar kya. We already have 2 episodes posted for this ghazal. Today is the 3rd episode. And in today's episode, we are going to cover the 5th couplet or sher. So let's dive into it. Here is today's couplet or sher. Farogh-e-Sholaa-e-Khaas Yak-Nafas hai. Farogh-e-Sholaa-e-Khaas Yak-Nafas hai. Hawas ko Paas-e-Namuas-e-Wafaa kya. Let's start with a quick approximate translation. So, first line, Farogh-e-Sholaa-e-Khaas Yak-Nafas hai. The splendor of the flame, the glory of the flame is for the duration of one breath. Second line, Hawas ko Paas-e-Namuas-e-Wafaa kya. What does lust care or bother about respecting and protecting the reputation of loyalty and love? So that's an approximate translation for the couplet. Now let's get into the first line. Some keywords. Farogh is used to describe illumination, light, brightness about something. Also used to describe the splendor, the glory, the fame surrounding something. And then Shola is flame, Sholeh is flames, and lastly Khas, which translates to straw, hay, dry grass, जिसको हम लोग अपनी लोकल लैंग्वेज में घास कहते हैं, वो यहाँ पर खास कहा गया है उसे. The other keyword which we want to cover in the first line is Yak-Nafas. So Yak translates to one and Nafas translates to breath. Now in this couplet, when we were creating the impression at DGMZ, very soon, very quickly, this couplet became a favorite. And we will share with you why. It is because we all know that Ghalib is the undisputed poet of unrequited love and the pain, grief, and misery associated with it. We have covered many couplets on that, many ghazals on that. But in this couplet in particular, you get to enjoy the poet of love aspect of Ghalib. Because this couplet, Ghalib has very cleverly used to define what love is, but more importantly, to define what love is not. So that's why this, like I said, became a favorite couplet very fast when we were doing the research and the impression for it. That's a very important critical assessment or differentiation that all of us at some point or the other make in life, right? Whether it is true love or not, right? And somehow this couplet gives you food for thought as far as that assessment, as far as that analysis goes. So let's get into the first line. Farogh-e-Sholaa-e-Khaas Yak-Nafas hai. Farogh-e-Sholaa. Now, as we said in the translation, Farogh is glory, illumination, radiance, जलवा किसी चीज का, right? हम लोग, yeah, that word suits this sentiment well. किसी चीज की जलवागिरी, जलवा किसी चीज का जिसमें you are at your best. And शोले का जलवा, right? Flame, fire, flames, उनका जो glory, उनका जो magnificence है, उनका जो splendor है, that is Farogh-e-Sholaa, which Ghalib has captured here. The second thing which he has captured is Khaas, like we covered in the translation, dried grass, hay, straw. So Farogh-e-Sholaa-e-Khaas, when the glory of the flame is playing on dry grass. And then lastly, Yak-Nafas. So when the glory or the magnificence of flame is playing on grass, its lifespan, its duration is for one breath only. It lives a very short life, as short as one breath only. Now, true to the precedent at DGMZ, true to our nature, whenever we encounter a new word, we try to explore it, right? So Farogh is a new word that we have come across in this couplet. So let's try to explore that word a little more. And while we will discover the word more, we will also understand why Ghalib has used it in this couplet. So, मीर तकी मीर का ये शेर, उसके फरोगे हुस्न से झमके है सब में नूर, उसके फरोगे हुस्न से झमके है सब में नूर, शम में हरम हो या की दिया सोमनाथ का. Beautiful couplet. The approximate translation is that the farogh of her beauty, the glory, the magnificence of her beauty, Farogh-e-Husn, is the reason that everything is lit up, everything is illuminated, everything is brightened. Whether it be the candle burning in a holy mosque or it be a lamp burning in the temple. Her Farogh-e-Husn, her illumination from the beauty she has, illuminates everything, brightens everything. बेदम शाह वारसी का ये शेर, मुबारक साकी मस्तां मुबारक, मुबारक साकी मस्तां मुबारक, फरोगे मजलिस रिंदा मुबारक. The approximate translation is, congratulations cupbearer, congratulations to you on the Farogh-e Majlis Rinda, on the brilliance, on the glory, on the illumination in your gathering of another wine addict. And then Muhammad Yusuf Rasik ka ye sher, आशिक के दम से हुस्न की दुनिया को है फरोग, आशिक के दम से हुस्न की दुनिया को है फरोग, बुलबुल नहीं तो रौनक गुलजार ही नहीं. Approximate translation is, it is the lover that brings farogh, glory, illumination, brightness to the world of beauty, by extension the beloved. Because if there was no bulbul, the bird, right, that sings in the gardens, if there was no bulbul, then there would be no liveliness in the garden. The garden could be as colorful, as beautiful as it may, but without the songs of the bulbul, the garden is dead. Bulbul is what makes the garden alive. And Yak-Nafas. So no, it's not a new word. We have covered it a lot, but नफस की सूरत में ज़्यादा कवर किया है. यक नफस की अपनी एक अलग इम्पोर्टेंस है उर्दू पोइट्री में. काफ़ी बार यूज़ की जाती है ये फ्रेज़, एक सांस, राइट, टू डिस्क्राइब मेनी थिंग्स. अब आलमा इकबाल का आप ये शेर देखिए, मेरी बिसात क्या है तबोताबे यक नफस, मेरी बिसात क्या है तबोताबे यक नफस, शोला से बेमहाल है उलझना शरार का. So So the approximate translation is, what is my standing? Right? What is my standing? Me who has the capacity of but one breath only. Because it is, it doesn't make any sense for a spark to try and compete with a flame. And then मीर तकी मीर का ये शेर, फुर्सत में यक नफस की क्या दर्द दिल सुनोगे, फुर्सत में यक नफस की क्या दर्द दिल सुनोगे, आए तो तुम वह लेकिन वक्त आखिर आए. Approximate translation is that in the span of a breath, what will you be able to hear about the pains of my heart? You did come to talk to me and hear from me, but you came at the very last moment. Now I only have one breath left. Time is too short. I will not be able to tell you about the pains of my heart. Now, interestingly, in Urdu poetry, Yak-Nafas is not only used to describe something fleeting, something short, something momentary, जो कि उसका actual meaning है. Many a times it is also used to describe things that seem like a moment, right? Metaphorically, philosophically, though they are not as long as a moment, they are much longer. अब जमाल एहसानी का ये शेर, ना कम समझ सफरे उम्रे यक नफस को जमाल, ना कम समझ सफरे उम्रे यक नफस को जमाल, इस एक राह में सारा जहां पड़ता है. Beautiful couplet, love it. Probably one of our favorites from this episode. So the approximate translation is that do not think it is short, this life that seems like one breath. Do not think it is short, because in the path of this life there is a whole world to be crossed. So it might seem short, life might seem very short, but remember that it is not. You will have to cross an entire world in it. Right? In the first line, Ghalib states that the glory, the brilliance, and the magnificence of fire when playing on straw is momentary. It is short-lived. It is fleeting. And we have to keep in mind that Ghalib is not taking away anything from the glory of the fire. Farogh-e-Sholaa को कम नहीं समझ रहे हैं वो. But he does take away from the duration and the lifespan of Farogh-e-Sholaa. So जलवा तो Farogh-e-Sholaa का कायम है, but उसकी जो मोहलत है वो बहुत कम है अगर वो शोला खास पे है. And one wonders why so much emphasis, right, on the duration and the lifespan of the fire and flame. What is he trying to say? Okay, technically we know कि घास में जब आग लगती है तो वो आग ज़्यादा देर तक नहीं रहती क्योंकि घास बहुत जल्दी जल्दी जल के ख़त्म हो जाती है, राइट? बट इस कपलेट में इस बात की क्या रिलेवेंस है? एंड वो बात समझने के लिए we need to get into a background concept and assumption with reference to fire and flame in the world of Urdu poetry, in the world of love, from the perspective of a lover. Now, in the world of love, especially love in Urdu poetry, fire, flame do not get extinguished. Leave aside, get extinguished in a moment. These are fires and these are flames that burn on and on and on. आप फैज अहमद फैज का ये शेर देखिए, जिगर की आग नजर की उमंग, दिल की जलन, जिगर की आग, नजर की उमंग, दिल की जलन, किस पे चाराए हिजरा का कुछ असर ही नहीं, किसी पे चाराए हिजरा का कुछ असर नहीं. So the approximate translation is that the fire that burns in my liver, the passion or the intoxication that swells in my eyes, and the burning that happens in my heart. On all these three things, the so-called cures for separation seem to be ineffective. No cures work. दुष्यंत कुमार का ये शेर, मेरे सीने में नहीं तो तेरे सीने में सही, मेरे सीने में नहीं तो तेरे सीने में सही, हो कहीं भी आग लेकिन आग जलनी चाहिए. And the approximate translation is, if not in my heart, then in yours. Wherever it may be, the fire should be burning constantly, continuously. इश्क में आग नहीं बुझनी चाहिए. Right? These fires have to burn on. In fact, these fires burn on and are kept alit by the lovers at all cost. Many a times these fires are fueled by the burning of the lover himself, especially his heart, metaphorically and physically. आग को जो कहते हैं फ्यूल देने के लिए, ईंधन देने के लिए, कभी कभी आशिक अपने आप को जला देता है, अपने जिगर को, अपने दिल को जला देता है, पर आग को जिंदा रखता है, आग को जलता रखता है. दाग दहलवी का ये शेर, ये मजा था दिल लगी का, ये मजा था दिल लगी का कि बराबर आग लगती, ना तुझे करार होता ना मुझे करार होता. So the approximate translation is, this is the high, this is the fun, this is the enjoyment, this is what love is all about, that this fire of love is burning equally at both ends. Neither will it let me rest, neither will it let you rest. It will keep both of us restless equally. वासी शाह का ये शेर, मुझ पे छा जाओ, मुझ पे छा जाओ किसी आग की सूरत जाना, मुझ पे छा जाओ किसी आग की सूरत जाना, और मेरी जात को सूखा हुआ जंगल कर दो. The approximate translation is, encompass me, cover me like a forest fire, and then turn me into a dry forest. Burn me up like a dry forest. Again, that jazba, right? All consuming fire. And then मीर तकी मीर का ये शेर, आग थे इब्तिदाए इश्क में हम, आग थे इब्तिदाए इश्क में हम, अब जो हैं खाक इंतहा हैं ये. So the approximate translation is that I was a burning fire at the beginning of love, and now that I've reached the end of love, I am ashes. Again, by extension, I have been consumed by the fire of love. Now, again, the lover in Urdu poetry usually will carry this fire of love and passion in his heart. It seems heart is the usual seat for this fire. Heart is the usual furnace for this fire. That is where this fire burns consistently. Jalil Ali का ये शेर, Jalil Ali का ये शेर, आग ही आग हो सीने में तो क्या फूल झड़े, आग ही आग हो सीने में तो क्या फूल झड़े, शोला होती है ज़बां, लफ्ज़ शरार बनता है. Nice couplet. What it translates to is, when all you have in your heart is fire and some more fire, then how can you shower flowers? With this type of fire in your heart, your tongue will be a flame and the words will be sparks. That is the extent of this fire and the way it um, almost takes over your body, your speech, your actions. फैज अहमद फैज का ये शेर, शोलाए दर्द जो पहलू में लपक उठेगा, शोलाए दर्द जो पहलू में लपक उठेगा, दिल की दीवार पे हर नक्श दमक उठेगा. Approximate translation is, whenever this pain-filled flame will brighten, will increase in intensity, will rise up again. Every time this flame rises up again, the walls of my heart, all the letters on those walls will illuminate, will start shining once more. So all this context to establish the fact that मोहब्बत की दुनिया में, उर्दू पोइट्री की दुनिया में, गजल की दुनिया में आग बुझती नहीं है. आग बुझती नहीं है. एक बार ये आग जल जाती है तो ये आग बुझती नहीं है. एंड दैट इज वाई गालिब एक कंट्रास्ट क्रिएट कर रहे हैं उस फर्स्ट लाइन में, जहां पे उन्होंने लिखा है फरोग-ए-शोला-ए-खास यक-नफस है. तो ये इश्क की आग तो हो नहीं सकती, जिसको सिर्फ एक सांस की मोहलत है, क्योंकि इश्क की आग तो ऐसी होती है. Went through all the couplets and all the scenarios. इश्क की आग तो ऐसी होती है, ये तो नहीं बुझती. Now, with that background, conceptual background in place, अगर हम एक बार फिर से इस शेर को देखें, फरोग-ए-शोला-ए-खास यक-नफस है, तो बात समझ में आती है कि गालिब कह रहे हैं कि ये शोला उठेगा तो अपने जलवे में, जो इसका जलवा है, पर सिर्फ एक मोहल्लत है इसको, एक सांस की. इससे ज्यादा ये सरवाइव नहीं करेगा. क्यों? क्योंकि ये खास पे है, क्योंकि ये खास पे है. So Ghalib in this first line states that the glory, the brilliance and magnificence of fire when playing on straw is momentary, is short-lived, is fleeting. For Ghalib, the lifespan of fire does not depend on the fire itself, but on what it's burning. Fire will start in all its glory and splendor, but how long will it be able to sustain this glory and splendor depends on what the fire is burning on, or where the fire is burning. So, in our couplet in the first line, fire is on straw, and that is why it is short-lived, momentary, and there is no way it can sustain even one additional single breath of life. It is there for just one breath of life. And what the unsaid here is, right, that the fire in the lover's heart starts almost in this inexhaustible coal mine that fuels this fire forever, keeps it going on and on. So that takes care of the first line, Farogh-e-Sholaa-e-Khaas Yak-Nafas hai. Let's move on to the second line. हवस को पास-ए-नामुस-ए-वफा क्या. Now, let's pick the keywords in this second line. Hawas, lust, desire, greed. Paas, watching, guarding something, taking care of something, regard and respect for something, consideration for something. Namus, dignity, reputation, honor, fame, esteem. So, Hawas ko paas-e-namus-e-wafaa kya. Wafa we all know is loyalty, especially in love. Now, for this second line, right, we have to understand the keyword Hawas. Now, if you remember, Ghalib used Hawas in the matla of this ghazal also. Hawas ko hai nashaat-e-Kaar kya kya, na ho jeena to marne ka maza kya. So, question उठता है कि Ghalib, is he using Hawas in this fifth couplet under the same context? In our humble opinion, no. Here, Ghalib is specifically talking about Hawas in the context of lust, greed, desire. Now, especially the lust and the desire and the greediness of it when it exists between lovers. That is what Ghalib is referring to in this particular couplet. Again, to understand why Ghalib has used the word Hawas here, we will have to set up a brief context, background context. Now, love. We will have to get into the theory of love to understand the word Hawas in this couplet. So, love has been classified and defined multiple times in multiple ways by multiple people, philosophers, theologians, and different cultures have defined it differently. We can't get into all of them. We've just picked 2-3 which are most relevant to the couplet from today, or which will aid or help or facilitate the impression of the couplet today. So, number one, in Greek culture, love has been classified into 8 types. And among these, one of them would be the erotic love, right? Eros, which is the closest to lust, right? Now, there is also another theory, the triangular theory of love. This is by Sternberg. And in this theory also, he classifies love into 3 stages: intimacy, passion, commitment, right? And then the last one is this 3 loves theory, which takes its basics and fundamentals from the theory by Helen Fisher. So these are the 3 very commonly quoted theories or classifications of love. Now, the one which will be most relevant to our impression from today is the 3 loves theory by Helen Fisher. Now, in this theory, Helen comes up with 3 loves: lust, passion, and commitment. According to her theory, these 3 loves occur in different parts of the brain and can exist independently from each other. Each love is a prerequisite for the subsequent love to emerge. But once it has, it's no longer necessary. Lust is needed for passion, but passion can exist later without it. Passion must exist for commitment, but later on, commitment can exist without it. Lust is instantaneous and comes and goes constantly, being very easy to retrieve once lost. Passion takes anywhere from a few days to a few weeks to emerge and will usually stick around for 3 to 6 months. In highly compatible couples, it will persevere, but still require effort and constant communication to maintain beyond a couple of years. Commitment arises after anywhere from 1 to 3 years together and remains for a lifetime, unless 2 people grow apart as individuals, in which case it often takes years to undo itself. Now, we can see Very, very simply put, love goes through stages, right? It goes through various stages, and per these theories, give or take, those three stages can be put under these three buckets: lust, passion, commitment. And if we were to go by Helen Fisher's theory, one is required for the other, but once passion, let's say for example, we have achieved passion, we don't need lust anymore. We have achieved commitment, we don't need lust or passion anymore. The most light-hearted, frivolous, uh, least sustainable is lust, and the most uh, sustainable, most serious is commitment. Lust, you can get over its loss very quickly. Passion, you might take some time. Commitment, you probably will never get over that loss if those losses happen. So, with that background in mind, you can you can now go back to the couplet and see um, why Ghalib is making the differentiation. Ghalib is making the differentiation between Hawas and Wafa, lust and commitment. According to Ghalib, lust is an emotion insufficient to be considered as commitment or commitment in love. He clarifies that lust comes with no lifespan, no responsibility, no accountability, no sustainability, vis-a-vis love and commitment, which come with all these attributes. Lust, now we can understand, lust he is comparing to Farogh-e-Sholaa-e-Khaas Yak-Nafas. He is comparing lust to this brilliant flame that is burning on straw, and hence will burn for the duration of one breath only. Lust is a fire burning on straw, momentary, short, fleeting. ये कह रहे हैं गालिब. एंड जान निसार अख्तर का आप ये शेर देखिए. सोचो तो बड़ी चीज है, सोचो तो बड़ी चीज है तहजीब बदन की, सोचो तो बड़ी चीज है तहजीब बदन की, वरना ये फकत आग बुझाने के लिए है. Amazing couplet. Again, clarifying or demarcating between lust and love. So the approximate translation is that if you were to think, then respect and reverence for a body is a huge matter, But if you were to ignore it, if you were to not think about it, then you might as well use it as a tool to quench your lusty desires. So people who have reverence and respect for somebody's physical body will get into the phase of Paas-e-Namuas-e-Wafaa. But if they choose to ignore that aspect, if they choose to ignore the reverence and respect for a physical body, then they get into the realm of Hawas. And आप ये देख लीजिए कि यहाँ पर Ghalib is not defining love. He actually in the whole couplet is defining lust. But वही style है कि while he is defining lust, in parallel he is defining love. क्योंकि जो जो चीजें lust में हैं, वही चीजें love में नहीं होती. और जो जो चीजें lust में नहीं हैं, वही सब चीजें love में होती हैं. Love is a fire burning in a deep, inexhaustible coal mine. Never stops, never extinguishes. जैसे हवस तो फरोग-ए-शोला-ए-खास एक नफस है. लव ऑन द अदर हैंड, वफा ऑन द अदर हैंड एक ऐसी आग है जो कि मान लो एक कोयले की खान में जल रही है। ये आग कभी नहीं बुझेगी क्योंकि ये तो खान में जल रही है, इसको फ्यूल की कमी कभी नहीं होगी। खान से इसको रेगुलर फ्यूल मिलता रहेगा। ये वो आग है। आपको ये कबीर का दोहा याद आ रहा है मुझे, प्रीत पुरानी ना होत है, प्रीत पुरानी ना होत है, जो उत्तम से लाग, 100 बरस जल में राहे, पाथर न छोड़े आग। So the approximate translation is that love never becomes old, never extinguishes, never dies if it is true, if it is done with or towards a gentleman. By extension, somebody loyal, somebody honest, somebody with dignity, somebody with the sensitivity of reverence and respect, right? It is just like a stone which you can submerge for 100 years in water and then you bring it out, it will still have the spark of fire inside it. It will still have the promise of fire inside it. So, प्रीत पुरानी ना होते जो उत्तम से लाग, 100 बरस जल में राहे, पाथर न छोड़े आग. And then मिर्जा गालिब का ये शेर, इश्क पर जोर नहीं है, ये वो आतिश गालिब, इश्क पर जोर नहीं है, ये वो आतिश गालिब कि लगाए न लगे और बुझाए ना बुझे. So basically, the approximate translation is you cannot control love, you cannot control true love or the flame of it. Because this is a flame, you cannot force it to start, you cannot force it to stop. This flame has a mind of its own. आप झूठी मूठी ये आग लगा नहीं सकते और जहां ये आग सच में लगी हुई है आप वहां ये आग बुझा नहीं सकते. So that is हवस को पासे नामूसे वफा क्या. हवस वो शोला है जो कि घास पे जल रहा है. इस शोले को कोई लेना देना ही नहीं है पासे नामूसे वफा से. पास, protecting, guarding, having a protective instinct towards namus, dignity, honor, wafa, loyalty and love. So Hawas has no business getting worried, getting troubled, making an effort to protect, to guard the dignity, the honor of loyalty and love. हवस को इससे कोई मतलब नहीं. ये काम सिर्फ इश्क ही करेगा. ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी सिर्फ सच्चा इश्क ही अपने ऊपर लेगा, हवस नहीं लेगी. सो हवस को पासे नामों से वफा क्या. Now, as we mentioned earlier in the episode, when we were creating the impression for this couplet, we at DGMC realized that in his own unique, unmatched, and eloquent style, Ghalib seemingly has given us two definitions. One about what love is not, and the other about what love is. So ये है हमारा शेर, फरोगे-शोला-ए-खास यक-नफस है, हवस को पासे नामों से वफा क्या. अब देखते हैं इस शेर में what are the things which are not love. How has Ghalib defined what love is not in this couplet? So, Farogh-e-Sholaa-e-Khaas Yak-Nafas and Hawas. This is how Ghalib is defining what love is not. So, it is a flame, Farogh. It is a glory-filled flame on dry grass with the lifespan of one breath. And it is lust. Farogh-e-Sholaa-e-Khaas Yak-Nafas and Hawas. Now let's see how Ghalib has defined what love is in this couplet. Right? So, Paas-e-Namuas-e-Wafaa. Love is what guards, protects, saves the dignity, the honor, the reputation of loyalty in love. So, like we said, according to us, एक ही शेर में बहुत खूबसूरती से एक इतना प्यारा, इतना क्लियर डिमार्केशन कर दिया है कि आपको साफ पता चल जाता है लस्ट वर्सेस लव. Ghalib seemingly has drafted a checklist. seemingly has drafted a checklist for true love in this couplet, highlighting what it is and highlighting what it is not. So here is the checklist. Here is the checklist. सिर्फ एक शेर में ट्रू लव की जो सबसे बेहतरीन, सबसे अजीज, सबसे प्यारी क्वालिटीज हैं वो गालिब ने कैप्चर करी हैं. The qualities of having a protective instinct towards the one you love, their reputation, their honor, their respect, their dignity, having accountability and responsibility for the person you love, again their honor, their respect, their dignity, having dignity and honor per se, having loyalty. So ये सब वो है पास-ए-नामुस-ए-वफा, right? And then commitment. अब commitment, sustainability and never ending lifespan, ये हमको मिलता है पहली लाइन से, यक-नफस. So love यक-नफस नहीं है. Love एक सांस की मोहलत के साथ नहीं आता है, right? Love comes to the table with commitment. It comes to the table with a self-sustaining ability. It comes to the table with a never-ending lifespan. ये वो आग है जो लगाए ना लगे और बुझाए ना बुझे. So, in our humble opinion, that's one great checklist for anybody who is trying to figure out whether this is true love or not. So that is the overall full impression for Farogh-e-Sholaa-e-Khaas Yak-Nafas है, हवस को पास-ए-नामुस-ए-वफा क्या. हवस को कोई मतलब नहीं है पास-ए-नामुस-ए-वफा से. वो तो सिर्फ यक नफस की जिंदगी लेके आई है. जैसे घास पे एक लम्हे के लिए शोला जल के बुझ जाता है, हवस तो वो एट्रीब्यूट लेके आई है. इसके बस की बात ही नहीं है पास-ए-नामुस-ए-वफा. ये तो सिर्फ इश्क के बस की बात है कि ये करे पास-ए-नामुस-ए-वफा. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the impression. We genuinely hope you enjoyed it. We just covered one couplet today because we think this is one hell of a couplet. And like I said, it has become one of our favorites. Ek couplet mein itna kuch packed, only Ghalib can do it, and we enjoyed going through it with you. Let us know via comments, via your feedback, whether you enjoyed listening to this or not. Now, for the new viewers, as always, a very strong recommendation to access the episode titled Introduction to DGMC, because that episode will give you a good insight into the inspiration and motivation behind this podcast. What are we trying to do here? Our homepage of the channel has multiple playlists, varied topics की, गजलों की, DGMC मिनी सीरीज लैला मजनू की, गानों की. आप सर्फ करिए, whichever episode you find interesting, feel free to access that. If you know somebody who would enjoy this content, do share it via your social media, be it YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. That is also one way for you to show your support for the channel if you appreciate what we do here. I will now go ahead and close this episode. I'm sending a lot of love and light to all you dear viewers, and thanks for watching.